Yep, we're rolling for another fragrance review. This time it is Versace EROS and it's the EDP. Now, without going right into big history with this, it's very popular. It's well reviewed online. I think I have smelt it in the past many years ago, but it was the EDT version, and that also tends to be the version that's the most well reviewed, and it's also been out the longest. So there's another version of this, the red version called EROS Flame, that's also an EDP. So without further ado, we'll go over the notes and then I'll give the usual put onto the skin, smell review, and give my overall opinion. So the price range for the 100ml, this is 100ml, ranges from anywhere from 85 up. So it's fairly expensive in comparison to maybe some of the others I've reviewed more recently, but then again I've also reviewed Dior Fahrenheit and Victor Rolf Spice Bomb Extreme, which are going, you know, towards £100 mark. And you can also, get the 50ml for 55, but in general you're probably better off getting the better size, of course, if you like it. So the notes are: top notes, Italian lemon, mandarin, mint oil and candied apple. Middle notes, geranium flower, clary sage essence and amber. And the dry down, cedarwood, alias and Virginia, so two different kinds of cedarwood there. Vetiver something essence, chair o'hare essence, patchouli essence, sandalwood and vanilla. So kind of I don't want to say complex, but there's obviously a lot of notes and ingredients there. So I'm going to put it on the skin and then I'll give my overall review. I probably bought this about a month ago, so I've worn it several times, so I can kind of give an accurate representation. I've also smelt the EDT, as I said, in the past, but obviously that was a long time ago, so I can't personally draw big comparisons. All I'm going on is what they say online in terms of the performance is slightly strong with the EDP, but the EDT, despite being cheaper and being an EDT, is also very radiant. So, you know, make of that what you will. So I'm going to put it onto the skin now. A bit higher up, it's strong. So I'm thinking I'm going to put it on my hand and go straight in, but no, it's very strong. Okay, so 3 sprays. Yeah, so initially the smell is very pleasant and fruity, again much like the ingredients stipulate. I will say that the weird thing is that sometimes the opening is very, like it is now, very radiant and very potent, and I really enjoy it. But other times the opening I don't get so much, and that is both a good and a bad thing, because the candied apple and so on and that sweetness is very appealing, because again, through what I've been going through more recently, they tend to be more darker, more masculine kind of going out fragrances, and with this one it's kind of nuanced in the fact that the reputation is that of a clubbing fragrance, and I can see that, because it does have that like energy and that kind of freshness that you would, you know, in passing. But at the same time, I would also say it could be used as a daytime fragrance, and it's very wearable, so it could even be worn in the gym, and just it ticks a lot of boxes in that aspect. Again, it's very radiant, it's very powerful, so I'm not going to go in straight away, but I'm just going off of my own notes and obviously observations I've made. So yeah, with what most people say in terms of a clubbing fragrance and going out, I think it fits that bill quite well. But also something that I've not really seen mentioned by other people is the fact that it can be worn day wear. It's not overly offensive either, so even though it's very strong, and even though it's very fresh and radiant, I think that it can be pulled off in multiple locations, shall we say, and different weather. I don't just want to say it's a summer daytime fragrance. I think that Partly what I like about it is the fact that unlike some of like the Spice Bomb and so on, that kind of, or even another one which I'll get to, very nuanced in that they can only be used in certain locations, I'll say with this one it can be used multiple locations. In terms of the radiance and performance, again, it's a strange one. The performance is excellent on this, I will say. Probably one of the longest lasting fragrances I've had for a long time. So again, it's hard to put an exact number. Like, again, you could say most EDPs or Parfums will range anywhere from 4 to 6 on the bad end, up to 8 to 10 to sometimes 12. I would say that this is a 10, pushing a 12, maybe a bit longer, especially if you put it on clothes. The radiance is again strange, but then I think that a lot of radiance with aftershaves on my skin and other people is dependent on how hot they are, the environment that they're in, because again, this isn't as radiant off of me, even though I'm kind of hot. You can probably hear the fan next to me. So even though I'm hot, and then again, it could be an element of nose blindness to the smell, but I've had compliments on it, and even they're quite far away from me. So I'm guessing that the radiance from this, it does get pushed out depending on like where you are. But let's go over the notes. So again, to summarise, I do recommend this. Personally, I would give it an 8 out of 10. The reason why it doesn't get a higher mark is that, again, it tends to be on the more expensive side, and again, it's more nitpicking here why it couldn't get an 8.5 is that for this fragrance, I find it hard to differentiate between a lot of the notes that are in it, where again there are other fragrances where it's a lot more, the ingredients more pronounced. So I don't know if that's to do with again what I've read online, the more synthetic use of ingredients, where obviously more natural ingredients are more potent, you smell them stronger. That's just my opinion. I just find it, in comparison to a lot of the others that I've used more recently, slightly more synthetic with the notes. Having said that, it's very pleasant, fresh, clean. It does have that clubbing vibe about it. I kind of, again, like with the picture, the sort of a Greek god or whatever it might be, and even the kind of the Greek design on the bottle going around the rim. You get that image of aqua, the sea, the beach. So again, as I say, it's not just a clubbing only fragrance. It could also be worn in the day. If you smell it in passing, it's very pronounced off of certain people. Obviously, it's very pronounced off me, but yet I don't. I'm slightly nose blind to it. So yeah, very pleasant. You do get the fruity citrus notes from the off, and obviously it dries down, very pleasant. So yeah, overall an 8 out of 10, purely that it doesn't get the 8.5 because it is slightly on the pricier side. And again, for my own smell, I don't know why, people are different. Some people's skin, it's very radiant, some people, they can smell it, but then it dies down. I would say that the performance is excellent on this. The radiance is obviously clearly there. It's well reviewed, it's well liked. This is the EDP version of Versace EROS, highly recommended, 8 out of 10. So we're in that there.